What's going on, YouTube? Super Bowl 58 is here and just a handful of days away. We're back here with Hurry Up Offense. It's JT Creed, Mason Cannon, and yours truly, TJ Wingard here to preview our favorite plays heading into the Super Bowl. This is hopefully going to be, a cash cow for everybody, a little stimulus package into everyone's bank account. And we're just going to turn the Super Bowl into a bakery. So it's actually been a couple weeks since we recorded. So I have a couple things I want to ask JT and Mason off top. But first and foremost, how have the last couple of weeks treating you guys? JT, how the last 14 days been?
Been great, dude. Shout out to whoever makes the college basketball schedule and put UNC and Duke on the one weekend between the playoff games and the Super Bowl. Shout out to them for giving us something to watch last weekend. Big UNC fans, me and Mason are, so got the dub against Duke. But yeah, looking forward to the Super Bowl now.
And Mason, how about you?
Very busy, miserable at work, but yeah, not going to talk about that. But yeah, I've been good. Like JT said, UNC got the dub. Wasn't able to watch it. I was out of the state. But no, it was good, man. I'm excited for the Super Bowl. We'll see. So excited.
Love to see it. And yeah, especially that Heels Duke game. That's as good as I've seen y'all play in quite some time. I don't watch quite as much college basketball as y'all do, but that was one hell of a showing right there. Cool. And since the last time we recorded, a handful of coaching hires have been made. So I wanted to kind of pick y'all's brains on that. We're all from the state of Virginia, so I guess it's only fitting that we start with Dan Quinn. My kind of quick thoughts on this. It definitely felt like they settled potentially for option 3, it sounds like. But I still think it's not the worst hire in the world. Now it just comes down to how they feel about that staff. Cliff Kingsbury, I'm intrigued by that. So let me toss it to you guys. JT, what were some of your favorite hires, and what do we think about the Dan Quinn move to Washington?
I like the Dan Quinn hire in some respect. I think that anybody new would have been a good thing for the Commanders. And you kind of saw Ron Rivera knew, he saw the writing on the wall and kind of checked out halfway through the season. It looked like he was falling asleep on the sideline in some of the games. So it's good to get Dan Quinn in there, a guy with a lot higher energy than Ron Rivera. I don't love that they went from a guy that's a relationship and defense guy to a relationship and defense guy. You know what I'm saying? Like player friendly / defense. And
a lot of people said it feels like Ron Rivera 2.0. And
yeah, I mean, I think he's got a lot left in the tank in compared to Ron. Ron just, like I said, he just kind of seems checked out in some respects. And some of that's to blame on the fact that he was running GM and head coach, and that's just not feasible in today's game. Shout out Bill Belichick. So I don't know. I don't mind the hire though. I mean, anybody would have been a good hire, just getting somebody fresh and new in there. But at the same time, losing out on Ben Johnson, going back to Detroit, and not being able to get him as your head coach, that's a huge blow. In my opinion, if I was a Commanders fan, I'd be pretty upset that we didn't get Johnson.
Yeah, no, and I agree a ton with what you're saying. Like I said, it felt like they settled a good bit for that, but it could have been worse. I feel the same way about the Steelers offensive coordinator hire. Like Arthur's, yeah, that's fine. Like it's definitely an upgrade over what was there. But it doesn't mean we shot the moon, So Mason, let me know what were some of your favorite coaching hires? What do you think about Dan Quinn going to the Commanders?
Yeah, I haven't really paid much attention with the coaching, but yeah, I definitely think the Commanders could have done better, but they obviously could have done worse too. They needed somebody to fill those shoes, but JT made some good points. But it's interesting now with Kingsbury as OC, they might go Caleb Williams, they might trade up. We'll see what happens. But yeah, outside of that, I'm not really sure. You kind of enlightened me a little bit about the Steelers OC hire, so You kind of seem interested in that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, let's look at this from the ground up. I mean, nobody's worse than Matt Canada. Like I've literally been reading stuff about like his time in Pittsburgh and basically how people thought it was a joke. Like they were like, it'd be like an entry level sales guy becoming the head of the office after like 2 years. And it's like, what the hell? Why is this guy qualified for that? So, I mean, it can't be any worse than that. And Arthur Smith of the OC in Tennessee was fine. Other big hires, Mike Macdonald to Seattle. And the thing that I saw was Washington got outbid. Seattle just came in swooping in and said, no, Mike Macdonald, our dude.
They said that about Johnson, too, that Washington kind of lowballed their offer.
Yeah. Johnson's going to be an interesting conversation because, like, I could see a world where, like, hey, I'm really good at what I do, and I don't feel like adding stress to my life. I'm just gonna be the highest paid offensive coordinator in the league. Like, I don't know, that life, at least as a Madden player, sounds pretty awesome.
I'm not staying in Detroit unless it's an absolute bag. I'm not living.
That's sure. Well, that's fair too. That's totally valid. But That being said, yeah, those are just the thoughts on the coaching hires. What are the other big hires out there? Mike McCarthy keeping his job in Dallas, big talking point. No Bill Belichick on the sidelines. I'm a big fan of the Raheem Morris hire in Atlanta. Any thoughts on some of those things? Kind of rapid fire here.
Another situation where anything is better than what they had going on there, like just completely losing the locker room. Smith was, so I don't know. I like anybody new going in there just to use the weapons that he has available instead of just trying to outsmart the media for some reason instead of try to win football games. So I like that hire.
Let's hope. At least when he was in Tennessee, A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry usage rates were through the roof. So I'm hoping it's George Pickens and Najee Harris dealing more. Mason, any other thoughts on those coaching hires or Bill Belichick, like a year where we don't see him on the sideline? Thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, that's what I was going to. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Belichick didn't get hired. I don't think Vrabel got hired either. So two big guys that have nowhere to go yet. So it's interesting to see.
Culturally, and some of the coaching hires, like people are just out on the whole like old Patriots regime in a way, like, and they kind of got lumped in together as far as like non-interviews.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm excited about Brian Flores back to the Vikings.
Next words out of my mouth. I think it's interesting to look at the guys who didn't get jobs. Like Brian Flores did one hell of a job. Todd Monken was the AOC for Lamar Jackson winning the MVP. You know, like all these little things that, like, you know, it's just gonna be interesting to look back at this hiring cycle and be like, what would have been different had they hired, you know, X, Y, or Z? And of course,
Flores still has his lawsuit active against.
Yeah, and that's probably part of it
against the owners. So that's kind of a dicey deal if you hire somebody that has an active lawsuit against you.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And we also know the league has a propensity to maybe keep some people out of head coaching positions. Well, jumping into the meat and potatoes, Super Bowl 58. It's on Sunday, man. And look, I'll be pretty quick here. I've already bet Chiefs money line, actually twice. It's the better quarterback getting points. I really can't sum it up any more than that. I think San Francisco's got the better roster, but Patrick Mahomes, especially in this postseason run, they've been able to engineer enough offense. And I guess the last note here, it's a good 49ers defense. I think people often default to them being great. This year, I think they're a little bit more good than great, specifically in the pass rush department. I hope I'm wrong. I'm going to be rooting for San Francisco, just to put that out there. I hope Shanahan, he's the best play caller in the league right now. I think he deserves a ring as opposed to going 0-3 as a coordinator and a head coach. So I'm rooting for San Francisco, but I've already put my money where mouth is. I am taking Kansas City, the best quarterback in the world, getting 2 points. To me, that is that's a little too free. And actually, that's going to be pretty closely tied to my lock of the Super Bowl. Mason, let me know your thoughts. We're currently a 2-point spreads out in Vegas. Who you like here, San Fran or Kansas City?
Yeah, dude, you actually took the words right out of my mouth. Like, hey, I could not agree more than everything you just said. Yeah, it's tough, man. Like, I feel like if you allow Mahomes to reach the Super Bowl, like, you're screwed, man. Like, especially if you're getting 2 points. I do see a world where they lose, but I can't see it this Sunday. However, the Chiefs kind of struggle against the run a little bit. So I think if the Niners can be a little creative on the offensive end of the ball, could be a little spicy. But no, man, you just like you said, I think the Chiefs just kind of ultimately roll. Mahomes does his thing. But I will be rooting for the Niners. So we'll see what happens, though.
Awesome. JT, let me get your thoughts on this one, San Fran and then Kansas City. And then let's go ahead and dive into some player props and some game specials here. I mean, let's make these fans some money.
So part of my thinking is going to go similarly to what I said last week when the Chiefs played the Ravens. It was more of like I'm looking at the total talent roster, and it's like clear as day that the Ravens should have beat the Chiefs. And just if you look at 53 versus 53, and then you look at we have the same situation where objectively, if you look at it, the 49ers should win this game. Like they should win by 2 scores. Like if you just look at total roster construction. But then you have the X factor of Pat Mahomes, probably the best quarterback we've ever seen, in my opinion, at this point. I don't really know how you would argue, unless of course, a Pats fan like Mason. But
he might argue.
Yeah, he might. He'll definitely argue.
Not today, though.
I think Mahomes Mahomes is probably the best quarterback I've ever seen. So it's how many points do you give him above Purdy? I guess is really what it comes down to. And that's tough. I don't know, because I like Purdy too. So it's kind of tough. I don't really know how I would lean on either side. I think I'd probably still lean 49ers just because I do think the talent gap when you look at all the other positions, a lot of the skill positions, stuff like that. It's so wide. It's so wide. And I think that the gap in offensive weapons at the skill positions in this game is almost double what I thought it was in the Ravens-Chiefs game. So I thought Ravens-Chiefs, you see a big difference on, like, let's say the defensive personnel, where you see a big gap. On this game, we see a gap on both sides of the ball, in my opinion.
Sure.
I think there's a gap on defense towards the 49ers. I think there's a huge gap on offense as far as skill positions go to the 49ers. And also some of the matchups like Fred Warner going to be able to take away a lot of the easy Kelce routes. And Fred Warner's a good enough athlete to where some of the like longer plays, the improvised plays, that they probably just won't work quite as well against Fred Warner as they would traditional linebackers. So I don't know. I think I lean Niners in at -2. If you like the Niners, I think they cover 2. Or you could just bet the money line at -125 to pay a little juice. I think you just play the winner. It's a pick'em game. I think it's kind of where it should be. So yeah, that's kind of my lean. I don't really have a huge lean on it, to be honest. I'll be all over the props.
Which, I mean, I think is a sign of a good Super Bowl, right? And like kind of going to the bet market, I mean, the prop market, I think that's great too. One, I got to pat myself on the back. I've been saying that he's the greatest, Mahomes, that is, the greatest, most talented quarterback of all time once he turned 25. He had a ring and an MVP. Nobody else had done that. To me, I was like, that's the most talented guy to ever play the position. But let me just ask you a counter here. Flip the quarterbacks on these two teams. What's the spread become? It's currently 2 to San Francisco. Is this not, if you've put Pat Mahomes in San Francisco, Purdy in KC, is this not like a 14-point spread?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe 10.5 because I still like
10.5, 11.
Defense.
Okay.
I like, or no. If you flip them, then they're playing against the Chiefs defense.
Yes.
Oh boy, yeah, probably 14.
Oh yeah,
probably 14.
That's kind of wild. It's just a thought experiment. I just find interesting.
That's kind of wild.
Also, JT, have you done any scouting on Bo Nix?
Bo Nix is terrible,
Draft?
Bro.
I think I've landed on my draft comp for him being Brock Purdy. I think that's going to be a
no. Bo Nix can't hit the broadside of a barn, dude. There's no way. I don't think his accuracy is near Purdy's. I don't think Purdy is particularly like elite at accuracy, but I'd say Purdy's well above average.
Yeah,
I think Bo Nix is near that.
I think Bo Nix is a slightly more mobile Jimmy Garoppolo, which in other words is Brock Purdy. And I just go back and reevaluate the Oregon stuff. Like just watch it without like money on the line. He's pretty accurate. And he's a quick processor. I'm seeing Purdy. Purdy's like a bigger build.
I just don't like quarterbacks that can only read half a field. Sure. And that just bothers me. I'm not a half field kind of guy. Sure.
Anyways, we weren't here to talk about draft.
Yeah, back to the Super Bowl.
So let's start with the national anthem. You know, I mean, I think this is where it all kicks off, literally. So Reba McEntire, I believe is her last name. I just know her from that show. That's like the meanest Full House ripoff and nowhere near as good. So don't watch Reba. Save your time. But she's singing the national anthem, and she's like a country music icon. And they put the line at 95 seconds. That's 1 minute and 35 seconds for anybody who needs the quick math. She has done national anthems at the World Series and at NASCAR events and has never cleared 90 seconds. So slam the under. Reba McEntire under 95 seconds on the national anthem. Have you guys done any research in this? For whatever reason, this is like
no research, but Super Bowl is different, man.
I know.
The more time, like my thing is like, think about how much companies pay for ads and how much they pay like per second. Sure. Like in theory, as a performer, you are getting so much value every second that your voice is being heard. Like you might as well drag it out 2 full minutes.
Sure. And then the one other example I want to throw out, Chris Stapleton, did it last year. His line was set at 2 minutes, 5 seconds. He came in at 2 minutes, 2 seconds. So I don't know. The country side of me makes me think she might push it out, but that's close. That's close. And he hit the under.
That's a big difference from 95 seconds.
Yeah, I was looking up that from last year too, so I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
I'm not betting it, to be clear, but that's kind of.
Can you sing the same song with 30 seconds of difference and come from the same genre? All very interesting to me. I'm not musically talented, so what do I know? Anyways, let's jump into the props market. I got to get past all my college basketball bets for tonight before we get into it. Well, let's just go one in a row. I'm going to start with a little bit of a joking one. I went under 19.5 receiving yards for Marquez Valdes-Scantling. And if I can find an alt market, I might go under 10. I think he might go no yards in this game. So I'm
even
going
with the clutch catch, the clutch game sealing catch over shoulder last week.
Good on him.
Had a nice catch. He had one nice catch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just need him to get blank basically this game. So it's a little bit of a joke. It's just because Marquez Valdes-Scantling's not that good, but if he has one
Can
catch,
you bet his over under drops? That'd be cool.
Dude,
that would be fire. If there's a game where you could bet drops, the Super Bowl needs to be one.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, some of these the Super Bowl like specials on DraftKings are great, man. They're really interesting.
They'll make you think. Oh yeah, you'll be like,
yeah. I'm like,
happen. Sure.
Like, how do I evaluate that? Yeah, a lot of could happens where they're going to steal your money on the juice, but
for sure, this is a game where if you're a shotgun bettor, look away, because there's so many bets where you're like, dude, plus 650. Oh my god,
I could hit.
I'll throw 10 on that. I'll throw 20.
Well, I'm gonna lose plenty of money. I can't wait. It's gonna be great. I like Mahomes. We talked about it last week. Same prop. He did not hit it despite rushing 6 times.
Crazy.
He rushed 6 times.
Yeah.
So cross the line of scrimmage. They don't count the sacks as a rush. Cross the line of scrimmage 6 times. Only got 15 yards.
Yeah.
Like that's
feels
insane.
fluky, though.
That's not. I don't think that's holding up. Yeah. So over 26.5 rushing yards for Mahomes. I really like that. I could see the Niners sitting in a lot of man, just given the lack of skill on the offensive side for the Chiefs. That opens up some running lanes just because people are vacant. If you run a lot of crossing routes, that kind of stuff to get people down the field. So yeah, Mahomes rushing props, I'm liking a lot. Just looking at the numbers.
Mason, any prompts that stand out to you?
Yeah, staying on Mahomes, another prop he didn't hit against the Ravens was over 1.5 passing touchdowns. He only had 1, so
Sure.
I kind of like the over.
Oh,
1.5.
he's smacking that. Yeah.
Yeah, and minus
He's getting
160. He should get 2. Should.
The only thing that keeps him out of that is one, like an egregiously low scoring game, which for the love of God, please do not put us through another Patriots Rams game. And secondly, if he like runs 2 in, that could be like the only thing. So I like that a ton. And again, we talked about this 2 weeks ago. Like when you see Pat Mahomes and his line's at 1.5, take advantage of it because it doesn't happen often. For our next one, I went Christian McCaffrey over receiving yards, 33.5. It does sound like Willie Gay is going to play in this game, but that's still a point of the field where I think you can exploit against the Kansas City defense. And I mean, 33.5, we're talking about 3 solid catch and runs, 4 solid catch and runs for CMC. His receptions prop, by the way, is at 5. So if he hits that, I feel really confident that he gets 33.5 or over 33.5 receiving yards. JT, what's your next play?
That correlation's good. I think, like you said, if the receptions is close to the total, then the receiving yards, I think.
Which, by the way, I did not play 5. 5 felt a little too rich for me. I don't know about a running back getting 5 catches.
But at the same time, if Vegas knows that, then to me, 33.5 is free.
Yeah, totally.
On that. And I'm trying to think. I don't mind Pacheco's receiving prop either. I know it's just playing the other side.
Sure.
But at 16.5, that's pretty light. I think they get him involved a decent amount. Like I said, we keep talking about the lack of skill on the outside for the Chiefs. They're going to have to find ways to get creative, get the ball down the field. And that might just take a little bit of pressure off Mahomes as well. If the 49ers get a good pass rush, which they're bound to do, I could see Pacheco getting involved in the screen game. I think he even ran, if I'm not mistaken, last week, he made a nice catch on like a straight up receiver route. I think he was lined up in like a kind of a wide slot position and just toasted somebody for like an 11-yard gain. So 16.5 to me for Pacheco's receiving yard prop. I think that's a good line to bet.
No, I totally agree. And especially, look, the one time the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl, Travis Kelce was locked up by Levante David. This time he gets Fred Warner. It's not going to be easy. So like they might be looking for other avenues to be able to spread the ball around. So I like that a ton. I like that a bit. Mason, what's your next play you want to bring to the table?
You kind of just discredited it, my pick, but
hey, I've been wrong plenty of times. Go.
No, you're good. No. We all know Taylor Swift is gonna be at the game, so it's gonna be the talk of the night.
Here we go. Here we go. Give it to me.
No, Kelsey's scoring 6. He's scoring a touchdown.
I like
100%.
it.
I like that.
I like it. So
I
know he scored last week, but he's gonna score again.
I had a couple of. I think my very first bet. No, it was actually the second bet I placed. Was going against what I just said on the off chance I'm wrong. Travis Kelce most receiving yards of the game at plus 330, which put him at like I think 3rd at the time. It was right when the market opened like 2 weeks ago. And then I was trying to jump on it because I heard somebody talking about it, but I couldn't find it in DraftKings. But he was like plus 800 to win Super Bowl MVP. And I was like, 1, he could lead this game in receiving easily. 2, if he does, like there's a shot he wins Super Bowl MVP. And then like the league-wide narrative, like I don't know if this will really come into play, but if Kelce has a game, they're going to be incentivized to do that, have her come to the podium, all that sort of shit.
Yep.
So I don't know if they'd actually do it, but it'd be a reason to.
Yeah, you're spot on, dude.
I really hope that this game doesn't come down to some just BS flag that we see. And I don't even think that's what happened necessarily last year.
But it was
It was a ticky-tack type situation where, like, I understand the flag being thrown, but, like, if it happens 2 years in a row, oh, boy. Like, we can't have that. Not 2 Super Bowls decided by, like, a defensive holding on, like, a very questionable tug of the jersey.
Yeah. And it's tough. You don't want to have that call made in the last 2 minutes of a regular season game, let alone in the last 2 minutes of the last game this season. So it's like, yeah, that's brutal. I'm going to give you all 2 here. One kind of correlated to the Patrick Mahomes play that JT threw out. I saw over 7.5 on his first rush attempt. I'm basically just assuming that his first scamper ends up being a first down or pretty close to it. I got that at plus 100. So I like that a good bit. Again, I'm just kind of expecting broken play. He gets a first down out of it, which we've seen him do a billion times. And then my next one, it's kind of my anti-MVS correlation play. Justin Watson, over 16.5 receiving yards. Believe it or not, this is like the weird play that I have played every single week, and I am up pretty big on Justin Watson this year because they always set his line at like 12.5, 13.5. This week it's 16.5, and the man comes down with 1 to 2 big plays a week. It's like the randomest, every week I stick with it, but he's got me up pretty big this year, so I'm sticking with it in the biggest game of the year. All right, JT, you got any other you want to throw out?
I'm looking at some of these. Like one of the Super Bowl specials I'm seeing is any player to have 150 plus combined rush receiving yards. Yes is minus 105, so it's coin flip. But that kind of gives you a little bit of an opportunity to where any skill position player gets 150 scrimmage yards, which McCaffrey. Yeah, honestly, right. If you put his
or Pacheco, yeah.
If this was just a McCaffrey prop, I wouldn't be surprised at 150 plus at a coin flip. So you get that, and you also get the potential for another player to go off. I kind of like the yes on the over for that one.
Another coin toss play, Nick Bosa over a quarter sack at minus 115. Look, if the 49ers are winning this game, if you think San Francisco is going to win, bet that instead of the minus 125 money line, because there's no way he leaves this game and y'all win with him getting less than half a sack. Like, he's going to hit that. And it's actually a bet that I'm going to go ahead and place because him against offsides, Jawan Taylor, yeah, like give me that all day, any day. And then the next one, this is one of my sneaky favorite plays. Last touchdown, under 10.5 yards. I think whoever scores that last touchdown is like doing it at the 1 yard line. It's like, the tush push, some variation of that to put it over the top. So I like that last touchdown under 10.5 yards. Mason, what other plays do you like this week?
Yeah, just one. The DK squares. I'm kind of doubling down.
Squares are a must for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So I got a square from some other, not sure how to call it, whatever. Not the sports book. But I ended up getting Chiefs 7, Niners 0. And you can get that on the sports book at plus 310. I really like that. So 17-10, 27-20, something like that.
7-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Nothing. Yeah.
Speaking of first quarter, how about this? Going back to my Mahomes rushing yards. So obviously the running backs are like by far and away like heavy favorites for most rushing yards at the end of the first quarter. Got Pat Mahomes at plus 850. I'm just going to hope that they milk out a drive. He has a couple of decent runs and CMC meets a wall. At plus 850, again, this is if you're a shotgun bettor, the Super Bowl is your nightmare because you'll see plus 850. Oh, shit. I'll go ahead and place him on that. So that might end up being my dumb play of the week, but I'm kind of intrigued by it. And the next one I want to throw out here, a little bit of a long shot. Dre Greenlaw, most tackles and assists plus 290. Fred Warner was like I think Fred Warner was plus 100. Nick Bolton was like plus 150. And then Dre Greenlaw was the third option. And to me, he's hot take. I think he's almost as good as Fred Warner, just as good as Nick Bolton. So I think he's got just as good a shot to do that. So plus 290. I'll take it.
I really like this play. I just found it's under a tab called first of game for the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Total net yards gained on the first offensive play. The line is at 3.5. I love the over there.
Oh, dude, facts.
Sure.
3.5. I mean, you're basically banking on a run to get stuffed for that to not hit or an incompletion.
Yes.
Like those are the only two. I don't know, especially on a scripted play. I love that. Yeah. You get the first play of a Super Bowl scripted at the lines of you need 4 yards.
And not only like you're getting a scripted play, this is not even like you get a scripted play, but damn, it's the Arizona Cardinals this week. No. These are two of the best teams on scripted plays. Yeah. This NFL season with San Francisco and Andy Reid in Kansas City. So yeah, no, I love that a ton. I'm gonna have you send me that. One more I want to throw out. It's a little bit of a combo play, and this is a little bit of maybe where I think this game goes. First touchdown scorer under jersey number 22.5. Last touchdown score over 22.5. I think Christian McCaffrey gets that last 1 yard touchdown. And I think that's what puts San Francisco over 24-20. That'll be my score prediction. There it is. San Francisco 24-20, but I've already put my money down twice on Kansas City money line. So I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth here for sure.
Like 20.
Yeah, you just confused the hell out of me. I was like, I thought you said Chiefs.
It's one of those things where like the Chiefs are definitely the smart betting play because I got a Chiefs money line twice at plus 100. If you're gonna give me Patrick Mahomes plus 100, I'm taking it. Like it's gonna be there. But my heart is in there for Christian McCaffrey and Kyle Shanahan. So again, I'm talking on both sides of my mouth. And with my luck, dude, watch Christian McCaffrey gets that first touchdown, so that first bet misses, and then the under in the last touchdown. I'm gonna be a sad boy. Just wait, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I think that's pretty much it for my various plays. Anything else you want to throw out, JT, Mason?
Last one. What will happen first? This is also on DraftKings again, first of game. What will happen first, a touchdown or a field goal made? I was looking at it. I was like, oh, yeah, probably a touchdown. But I actually like the value that you get at plus 135 for the field goal. Totally. Touchdowns at minus 170. I don't think that's a good play, just given the juice you have to pay for that. But at plus 135 for a field goal made, I don't know. I think you get down to the 34-yard line.
Right.
They stop you short. You want to get some points on the board in the Super Bowl. I think they take a field goal.
The only thing that might screw you there is the rookie kicker on San Francisco side, right? Like Jake Moody might like cost you that. Versus like Harrison Butker, believe it or not, he has 11 for 11. No, 14 for 14 on kicks beyond 40 yards this year. Like he's been automatic there. So that's the only thing that gives me trepidation there. But I will say, especially on that first drive, I feel like a team is a little bit more inclined to play cautious versus like fourth quarter. Okay, I got to go for it on this fourth. First quarter, it's like, hey, like I'll take the points. It's cool. We get the first shot. There we go. I lied to you guys. I had two more plays I wanted to throw out real quick. Longest drive, 77.5 yards. I went ahead and I went over on that. It's going to take a drive starting from the 20, but I feel like with these two offenses, I can trust a long drive, especially San Francisco. And then this is my honorable mention, actually, for lock of the week. I went Isaiah Pacheco anytime touchdown score at minus 130. I just, again, with offensive firepower kind of being a little light this year for Kansas City, I think Pacheco finds the end zone. So like that anytime touchdown score. And then I'll say my lock of the week. That's the only other play I haven't talked about. Anything else you guys wanted to shout out for the good people?
I'm ready for the lock whenever you're ready.
Mason, you ready for locks?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. It's a teaser, but they won't let you do it because there's only one game this week. So same game parlay, but it's just a teaser principle. I got the Chiefs out to +8 over 41 points in this game. That comes out to minus 135. Not the craziest value, but Kansas City getting 8 points. I feel really good about that. And I think these two teams, again, I think San Francisco's defense is closer to good than it is great. I think there's going to be a decent amount of offense. So I like the over 41 play there. So there is my teaser lock for the Super Bowl. Put your house on it.
Mason, you guys just ready or you want me to go?
You got it. Good.
All right. I got a 4-leg same game parlay. Not super spicy on the payout, but I think it's just because these, to me, are locks.
Okay.
So I'm going with 225 plus passing yards for Mahomes.
Okay.
200 passing yards for Purdy, 200 plus. These are alternate lines, so you got to click on the alternate. Isaiah Pacheco over 16.5 receiving yards and Mahomes over 1.5 passing touchdowns. To me, those are all 4 legs that I would consider locks, and you put them together, it's plus 305. And that's without any boost that I'm sure you can get on DraftKings. This is just no boost at all.
Yeah, I think you got a good shot of that hitting because all 4 of those lines can happen whether one side wins or not. Like this is not correlated to Kansas City's going to win this game. Like it can happen either way. So I like that play a lot. Plus 305. Woo.
Yeah.
Sheesh. You just came back from a financial advisor meeting. You better give him the advice. You know, this guy needs to.
I didn't tell him about DraftKings. Don't worry.
The remedy for a perfect marriage. Mason, what's your lock of the week?
Still trying to search for my last leg. Couldn't find it, but the 2 that I have now is Mahomes over 1.5 passing touchdowns, and then Deebo Samuel over 16.5 rushing yards.
Okay.
It's like they mixed him in a little bit this game. And then the last leg was just trying to look for it. McCaffrey rushing and receiving, whatever that prop is at. I like the over. I couldn't find it though.
Okay. That's spicy. I especially like the Deebo shout because, like, hey, look, it's the last game of the year. He, for all intents and purposes, he might as well be your RB2. I like Elijah Mitchell, but Deebo Samuel better well be your RB2 for this game if you're San Fran. Cool. Awesome. We talked about the national anthem. Any early guesses? It's a 50-50 shot, but heads or tails? What do we like here?
Heads.
I always go heads.
Let's say heads as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, the hurry up offense is all in heads.
The spam tails. Spam tails.
Yeah. Spam tails, 100%. You see the thing, the graphic at the bottom where they all pick the same squad.
Man, I wish we could bet the over under on how many times the camera pans to Taylor Swift.
We're just gonna drink every time.
That's not in the first for the.
Yeah, we should. Oh, category. What a great idea, Mason.
Yep.
Take a drink every time.
Yeah. So I might not be driving home that night.
Don't do that if you have to drive home on Super Bowl Sunday, because look out below.
Yep.
Crazy. Well, guys, man, it's been really fun having the hurry up offense back for another season. I'm really pumped up for Super Bowl 58. I think it's gonna be a great matchup. And one last time, I think I bet on the Kansas City Chiefs, but I'm rooting for the 49ers. Who are you guys rooting for on Sunday?
I'm not rooting for anybody. I'm
just a good game.
Back and enjoy the game. I hope it's fun. I hope we get some big plays, and I hope nothing fluky like the surprise flag kills it.
Totally. Yep. Mason, any like rooting interest here?
Yeah, rooting for the Niners, but
that's a Tom Brady.
I'll say this: you let Mahomes get to the Super Bowl, you're in trouble. So that's all I'll say.
All right, last question. What would irritate you more? The narrative that would rule the entire offseason? Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, the Super Bowl MVP, or the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift stuff? Like if Kelce wins Super Bowl MVP or Brock Purdy, which narrative ticks you off more?
Anything involving Taylor Swift.
I think I'd agree. And I'm all for that relationship, by the way. I've been standing that from the beginning, but it's just not why I watch football games.
Just get it off of my football screen. If I want a Taylor Swift screen, I can find it. Get them off of my football game. Thank you.
Yeah, and I understand she's not asking for this. It's not on her. I'm not pinning it on her, but
I don't know, bro.
It's ridiculous.
No, I don't think she's asking for it.
She could sit in the back of the suite. She could sit in the back of the suite between plays, in between quarters. She's right up front, standing the whole time. Come on now.
Who gets in a fucking box to
stand? She can do that. That's fine.
Bro, the view is better. The view is better in a box. The view is better on the TV.
But that's not what you're paying
for.
That's not the experience you're looking for.
Nothing. She ain't paying nothing.
This is a garbage thing.
No, bro. You think her PR team doesn't have her front and center right at the angles everyone can catch her? Come on now.
If you're asking me,
you think she's that bad of a businesswoman?
She can't get any more.
She's a great businesswoman. So I hear what you're saying. I equivalent it to you know how I've told y'all this. I get so tired of hot take media, where you have to have a bit on your debate show so that way we can clip it out. But look, let's be honest. Those are the things that do the best on social media. They get the most likes, interactions, replies. They do the best. So people keep producing that content. Swiftie fans get excited. They tune in when she's there, so they keep cutting to her. I think we've made the problem. I think we are the problem, the consumer. Unfortunately, I think not all of us, but some of us.
The ratings on the Super Bowl are going to be through the roof.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Last year set a record for ratings, right? This one's going to demolish it if Swift's there, right? Got it. Which that being said, if you're a Swiftie, you've been watching Super Bowls before this, right? This can't be your first one. There's no way you haven't watched Super Bowl.
Well, I think there's some first.
Has there been a market game?
There's going to be some first timers, yeah.
You think so? Yeah. I feel like the Super Bowl is an event. I don't know. We're rambling. We're getting off tangent here, but it's kind of an interesting concept. Is there a whole lot new market there really with Swift? I feel like most people watch Super Bowl. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the Super Bowl 58 preview. Hopefully you got something out of this, or at least maybe thought a little bit. We certainly were thinking there towards the end. But want to thank again JT and Mason for not only this episode, but another year coming on and joining and talking some ball with me. Look, these are my best friends, so I get excited just to talk football and see them. But hope you guys have enjoyed this season of the Hurry Up Offense as well. And hopefully I haven't gone on too many crazy tangents while we've been here this year. But one last time for this season, for JT, for Mason, till next time, we are signing off.